The 2020 to 21 NBA season has officially started, and I am psyched, you guys. So I was thinking, why not make a video in which I talk about a specific goal that every NBA team should have? And before we hop into it, I would like to give a shout out to Sports Huddle. He made a video like this and it really inspired me to do it. So Sports Huddle, shout out to you, my man. So as you guys could tell from the title, in this video, I'll be talking about a specific goal for every single team in the East, and then I'll make a part 2 in which I'll talk about a goal for every team in the West. But without further ado, let's get into it, you guys. Philadelphia 76ers win road games. I think it's safe to say that last year we had two different 76ers teams. There were 28-2 at home, and then just 9-22 on the road. Now these stats are from before the bubble started, but it got much worse after that. But that is a difference of 64% in the win-loss percentage, which is the largest since the Boston Celtics of the 1954 to 1955 season. It's crazy how they were practically unbeatable at home, but then lost to teams like the Knicks and the Warriors on the road. But I'm pretty sure that they're going to be able to figure things out this year, especially since they got a new head coach in Doc Rivers. And I'm not even considering the whole James Harden trade situation. I feel like with what they have right now, with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid leading the team, I definitely think that they'll be able to fix this road issue. Toronto Raptors make the playoffs. Look, I know that this is setting the bar pretty low after they won the finals just 2 years ago. However, if you look at it, teams like the Nets, the Celtics, the Bucks, they've gotten much better. And not only have the Raptors not made any big pickups the last couple years, they've lost Kawhi Leonard and now Serge Ibaka in back-to-back off seasons. Maybe if they could put up a good enough record, another goal should be to pick up another big name or some sort of a star by the trade deadline. But as of right now, with the way things are looking, making the playoffs and just playing well as a group, that should be their main goal for this season. Boston Celtics make a decent pickup and make the finals. Look, we're going to keep things realistic here. The Celtics made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 times in the last 3 years, and they failed to win it both times. With the West being as stacked as it is, and the top teams in the East being a huge challenge, it'll already be a pretty big accomplishment if the Celtics can make that extra step and make it to the finals. Now, if they win, that'll obviously be a huge bonus. But as of right now, looking at the way the West is loaded and the top teams in the East being such a big challenge, I think if they make it, they should still look at this as a win season. And as far as the roster goes, this is already a pretty good roster built around Tatum and Brown, but after having lost Gordon Hayward this past free agency, whose absence in the Western Conference Finals last year was potentially the reason why they didn't make it to the NBA Finals, it wouldn't hurt to pick up a decent or even an all-star caliber player at the trade deadline. New York Knicks develop Toppin and pick up some guards. The Knicks actually made a very nice selection with the 8th pick of the draft this year, and since they're not going anywhere this season, why not focus on developing Toppin as much as you possibly can? Plus, the Knicks, for some reason, signed a bunch of forwards last year, so why not pick up a couple of guards and try and make something out of this roster to potentially have a better record in the upcoming years? I definitely don't see the Knicks making the playoffs this year, but that doesn't mean that they can't make a huge stride to potentially bringing those playoff hopes much higher in the upcoming years. Brooklyn Nets win it all. When the Nets signed KD and Kyrie last offseason, they knew that the 2019 to 2020 season wasn't going to be the big year since KD was going to miss it. Even with him out and Kyrie missing almost the entire year, the Nets still had a decent season. With LeVert and a bunch of solid pieces, the Nets are now loaded in almost every single way. And with the new head coach and Steve Nash and all their stars healthy, it's go time for the Brooklyn Nets. This will definitely be a letdown year for them if they won't win it all. Detroit Pistons find a good trade package for Blake Griffin. Griffin is entering his third full year as a Piston, and the first 2.5 haven't really worked out. They only made the playoffs once and got swept in the first round. The Pistons gave him a couple of years and things haven't worked out, and I think it's best for both the team and Griffin to find that package. Plus, they already traded Drummond last year, who was a pretty big name in Detroit for the longest time. I don't think that they should blow up the entire team, but they should definitely find someone else to build around. Chicago Bulls have a 500 record. The Bulls have so much young talent on their roster, and with a leader like Zach LaVine who has blossomed over the last 2 years, a healthy Lauri Markkanen, and other pieces such as Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter, just to name a few, it's about time we see an improvement in the win-loss column. I get it, the team is still very young, but the potential is there, and this would be a huge accomplishment for the franchise if they do end up achieving it. Milwaukee Bucks win it all. I mean, this has been the goal for the last 2 years now. The Bucks have put up some great regular season performances, but just haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs. Now that they traded for Jrue Holiday and that Giannis signed a Supermax deal, which shut down all the rumors of him leaving, the Bucks should feel no pressure and just do their thing. Cleveland Cavaliers, give it a shot. The Cavs have put together a rather unique team because they have all these young players and then they've got Kevin Love and Andre Drummond as their top guys. I personally don't see how this is going to work, but hey, they should give it until the trade deadline and see where they are. If it doesn't work, they should definitely try to shop Kevin Love and maybe even Andre Drummond. But until then, why not try it out? Maybe this will end up being a great combo for them. We'll just have to wait and see. Indiana Pacers make it past the first round. The Pacers have struggled to make any sort of noise in the playoffs the last few years, but if Oladipo can stay healthy, which I guess should be considered as another big goal for the Pacers, and we see Warren and Sabonis build off career years, I think that we'll see an even better team because this roster is deep from top to bottom. Plus, who knows, maybe they'll make a little pickup at the trade deadline as well. Washington Wizards make some noise. The Wizards have been pretty quiet the last couple of years, but now that they traded for Westbrook, they can look at it as a fresh start. He and Beal should be a pretty good duo, and they've got guys like Bertans who can shoot the lights out from 3, Thomas Bryant who has gotten better in each year of his career, and the only big question mark right now is their bench. The Wizards are going to be that one team that you like to avoid down the stretch. Charlotte Hornets make it work. The Hornets have a roster that has a lot of potential. It seems like for the past couple of years, they've been trying to put these pieces together, and although I don't think that they're done yet, they can definitely take a step forward this year. With guys like Gordon Hayward, Devontae Graham, who's coming off a career year, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, just to name a few, the Hornets have glued together all these different pieces. Now the question is, will they stick or will they fall off? Miami Heat make a pickup at the deadline and win it all. The Lakers definitely looked like the better team in the finals last year, but even with Dragic hurt, the Heat put up a good fight at the end. As I mentioned earlier, the top teams in the East have gotten much deeper, so it's not going to be as simple of a road to even make the finals. But if Jimmy Butler can do what he did in the bubble, and if they pick up another All-Star at the deadline, then I can maybe see them getting it done. If you make the finals the previous year and lose it, the goal would probably be to make it back and win it the next year. Orlando Magic get past the first round. The Magic have barely snuck into the playoffs the last 2 years, but it's now time for them to take that next step. They are still a relatively young team. However, with veterans like Fournier, Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, I think it would be huge to see the Magic take that next step in their development. Atlanta Hawks make the playoffs. The Hawks have found themselves in the bottom of the Eastern Conference the last few years, but with the kind of offseason they had, it's go time now. They picked up Bogdan Bogdanovic, Danilo Gallinari, and Rajon Rondo, and they had a very solid draft overall. You add this to Trae Young, John Collins, and Clint Capella, well, that makes a pretty good team right there. I can even see the Hawks knocking someone out of the playoffs, but the primary goal should be to make it first. Well guys, that's every team in the Eastern Conference right there. Make sure to let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Also, subscribe, drop a like, and I'll see you all next time.